Breaking right now, socialist dictator Nicolas Maduro ordering his army to open fire on Venezuelans attempting to cross the Brazilian border as they search for necessities. Things like food, things like water. 2 people are now dead, more than a dozen are injured, and as of tonight, we know that Maduro's troops have killed, as I said, 2 people and wounded dozens of others in Gran Sabana. This is the area right here, you see it here on the map, on Venezuela's border with Brazil, which Maduro blocked off. This deadly violence breaking out just hours ahead of a deadline imposed by Juan Guaido, the man Venezuela's constitution recognizes as the rightful president, the man we recognize as the rightful president, to bring aid across that border with Colombia in open defiance of Maduro. But what kind of guy doesn't want his people getting the food and medicine that they so desperately need? What kind of guy would be willing to fire on his own people when they're just trying to get some necessities that the global community is willing to provide? Joining me right now, a former mayor in one of those boroughs in Caracas, Venezuela, a man living in exile now after being threatened with jail by Nicolas Maduro, Ramon Muchacho. Good to see you, sir. Welcome. Muchacho, forgive me.
Many thanks, Trish. Thank you for this invitation in such an important day for us.
I mean, I guess you heard me say that I think this is the moment of truth, but I think it's also the final hours, really, at this point. And, you know, I don't know if it's going to be thousands of hours or if it's going to be just, you know, dozens of hours, but we're down to the point of no return, shall we say, for Nicolas Maduro, because I don't see how he comes out of this ahead. Am I right?
Well, I think for sure tomorrow will be an inflection point. Like, things will never be the same after this weekend, no matter what happens. There's still a lot of uncertainty about what will happen tomorrow. The biggest one, if Maduro will or will not use lethal force against Venezuelans.
Well, he's already proven that he's willing to hurt his own people today. They're on the Brazilian border. I mean, that's just crazy to me.
Yes, Trish, and that's the point. The whole world is asking for Maduro to open the border and allow the humanitarian help. And it's also asking for him and for the Venezuelan military to respect the life of the Venezuelan people. However, as you're saying, they started using lethal force today, and that's very, very dangerous. So the world must be watching closely, because tomorrow could be a very difficult day for us.
It's looking like 1 million people, that's what Juan Guaido told me, 1 million people are going to be marching towards that border in Cucuta, where that concert happened. We're going to get to that later today, the benefit concert, but they're going to be marching to try and get to that border. We know they're also trying to get to the Brazilian border. At what point does the military say, wait a second, this is not the right thing to do? Like, this is just not the right thing to do, to fire on my own people when they're just trying to get a little food and water?
Well, there is already one of the soldiers who participated in the shooting this morning against the indigenous people in the border with Brazil you were talking about. One of the soldiers, a female, it's already on social media asking pardon and asking Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez not to use lethal force against Venezuelans. I think tomorrow we'll see rivers of people, 100,000, millions of people everywhere in the border with Colombia, with Brazil, and even with the Caribbean Sea, trying to get into Venezuela with the humanitarian aid. And that is a key point. The more people we have, the more chances we have for the military to turn back on Maduro and start following the Constitution and the constitutional president, which is Juan Guaido.
Yeah, you know, you're looking at some video right now of these trucks that they send around to the neighborhoods, and you'll see they're actually trucks to give people eye exams. And they're still running the Chavez image there on those eye exam trucks. And you get this eye exam, and they'll give you a free pair of glasses, but the deal is you got to vote for them. And so you get to sign up and you get a promise you're going to vote for them, and then they track how you vote. And so there's a lot of intimidation, so you can't have any kind of free election if they're giving you stuff in exchange, the promise of the vote, and then threaten to take it away if they see that you voted otherwise. What's amazing about these pictures today is basically the people were saying, you know, get the HELL out of here. we don't want you here. So they're willing to trade these social benefits, sir, for freedom. They want freedom more than they want the eye exams or the eyeglasses.
But there are not real benefits. Remember that socialism, it's about propaganda. It's about making people believe in something that is just not going to happen. Like they were always promising happiness to the Venezuelan people, and look how we're doing now. So people is really starving and doing really bad. And of course, Venezuelans want change right now. I mean, it's the best humanitarian aid we can get. It's actually getting Maduro out of power and starting a democratic transition that will allow us to rebuild Venezuela.
I really do. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be next week. But I predict that you guys are going to get that, and that liberty
There's no way
will
back.
come
There's no way back
to Venezuela. Thank you, Ramon. Good to have you here.